Hello? Hello? Yes, I'm getting lights. I'm getting lights! Woo, yay! Okay. Hello and welcome to the channel. Apologies for the delay on the start. I was just about to go live and had a random visit from the landlord's dog, so had the obligatory 100 pets to give and all sorts of stuff. But yes, I was neither here nor there. I was literally just about to start up and the dog came in. I was like, oh. So yes, it's Wednesday, so it's time for the art stream, hence the reason the camera's aiming at my desk rather than my usual mug, so you get a magnetic tackle looker. No real plan for today. I'm just gonna sit down and draw whatever comes to mind, because I haven't really thought much about the stream today. Not really been in that great a position to. Head's not been right, but you know, we'll see if streaming does help clear the gremlins and such. So without further ado, I'll move to the camera that's more, well, focused on the white sheet of paper that's currently out there, and we shall see what I come up with today. And because it's magnetic, it can stick to the side of the computer case. Oh, it's doing that again, isn't it? Alright, hang on. Let me probably shake up the camera a lot. If I do it. Hang on, so it's going to be. Nope, that's not right. That's slightly better. Let's just try and get this to aim down a bit more without dropping everything. Hello and welcome to the channel. You just caught me just as I was getting everything all set up and ready to go. Just planning on doing a bit of sketching and drawing today and see what comes up. I've no real plan set, so I was just gonna sketch away and see what happened. What I will do is, because I know that there'll be some people who end up catching this later on, from last week I was doing some chibi drawing practice. And this is what I managed to get. So let's turn it so you can see it better on the camera. From last week. So I had someone wanting me to do an image of my character Loyu with the banhammer. So I have. I'm still not used to all this. So that's Loyu there with said banhammer. Then a friend wanted his character drawn as a chibi, and then lastly. I'll never get used to this. We have Ryder supposedly landing in like a superhero style pose. Ooh, thank you very much for the follow there. So I do, as you're aware, on Wednesdays is most of my art streams. So I do stream, or try to stream on Wednesdays to do all my artwork. More of the mental health exercise than anything else, it just keeps me going that way. And then I do gaming on Fridays and Saturdays. I'm hoping to get some more streams in at some point, but I've got some stuff with work I need to sort out first. So, one thing I did have an idea of briefly before is I've been playing a bit of Azure Lane and Princess Connect, their mobile games, and there is a voice actress who does two different characters in the different games, so I was sort of thinking of having a bit of fun and trying to draw her two different characters sort of costume swapped, and see how we go with that one. And plus it gives me some drawing practice with something that isn't my character, because I force a habit, if I get bored I'll draw Loyu and I'll just gonna sit there and sketch her all the time, and most of my artwork on my Instagram is just art of Loyu that I sketch whilst I was at work. Because I used to have a really good job where I could, whilst waiting for customers to ring in, I could sit there and sketch, so I made the most out of that. But yeah, it's something I need to really do more of in terms of sketching other characters and get used to different drawing styles. Hello there, hello Quirch, welcome to the channel there. Thank you for dropping by. Let's say we'll just literally get all started on this. And I don't know if you caught, but my idea is for today I'm going to try and draw the character of Belfast from Azure Lane and sort of swap the costumes around with Saren from Princess Connect, just because it's the same VA between the two. Good evening, Vorlon, welcome to the channel, thanks for dropping by. Right, so first I'm going to need to think on character poses, because obviously you've got Belfast, who is made, so Saren will be then. Let's see, so we'll start off. I might need to actually do them on two different bits of paper just so I can use the full amount, but let's just get a rough idea going. So I'm going to want... yeah, I'm going to try and draw stick people and hopefully it does something from there. I always found like trying to get like a stick figure drawn and then trying to flesh it out so it works for me as a way of doing art. Varies for everyone, you know, saying that the way that I do it is the way that it has to be done, but for those who sort of sit down and say, oh, I can't draw, I'm not good at art, I always say, well, give it a go and start with stick figures, and see how you go from there. So, cause if you can get a stick figure done, you can flesh it out into something more from there. So we'll do the usual pose. We'll have them with the teapots and the cups. One thing I need to try and get is you're going to have the curve coming down there, so you want the curve down there. I've been reading up on some bits of art and like how to try and get them more organic looking, if you will, because a lot of the time I fear that my images are very stiff and boxy looking. And one thing that I was reading up on was basically like, you know, put curves in, have everything, I forget there's a technical term for it, it's an Italian one, is it Constapo? But it's basically you have them so that they put weight on, say, one leg, and then the weight come off the other one, so that it allows for a curve to form as all the weight is put down on one leg, and the other leg is allowed then to create more of a curve to it, even though my image is a bit awkward for seeing that. So you'd have your weight on the hips like that, but then your shoulders would go the opposite way, so you have a curve flowing that way, but also you'd have another curve flowing here. So that's what I'm trying to go for. So a lot of my art, in fact all of my art really is self-taught. I never went to any schools or anything like that, so I've had to read and study and learn my art that way. So my art does get to be a mix of styles more than anything. I won't say a good mix, but it's definitely a mix. I don't know if any of you watching have your own styles for drawing or anything that you sort of think, actually, I prefer doing, you know, like starting off with boxes or cylinders and things like that. Or if any of you have actually been to art schools and you're like, well, actually, you'll probably find it easier if you did this, because, you know, I'm all for learning. Because, again, I know that what I do is by no means perfect. It is very much a Heinz 57 way of doing art. It's mixing a lot of things together and hoping that something good comes out at the end of it. And I'm getting better, but I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. But I wanted to do more sketching for this week. One, get the practice back in, but also I'm still waiting the refills for my Copic markers so I can continue going. So that's the other thing, I've got to practice. So what I'm trying to draw is it's an idea I had sort of very briefly earlier on, so I decided to go for it, is there's 2 mobile games that I play, and there's a voice actress that does a character in each of them, so I'm going to draw those 2 characters but swap the costumes over. So this will be Saren from Princess Connect in Belfast's maid uniform, and then there'll be Belfast from Azure Lane in Saren's outfit. So it's just random idea that came across. I was like, well, it gives me a chance to try and draw other characters, other properties and such like that, and learn from them, because I'll be bringing up reference images to see how they've drawn and mostly how the costumes go together. But from that, I'll be able to look at it and go, oh, actually, that's where I went wrong. I could have done that better. And using them as a reference of sorts. Because if there's one thing I've learned, there's nothing wrong with using reference material, providing that that's what you're doing. You're using it to look at and take inspiration from, rather than outright just tracing over or such. That said, there's nothing wrong with taking a photograph and trying to draw the photograph on paper, and using the photograph as your it's not like you're tracing it, but you're copying it onto paper, because you're going to add your own little touches to it, but it gives you a fantastic way of learning anatomy. So what I look to try and do to start with is get a rough sketch of the outline done, and then I can worry about like how the clothing fits on the top. Sort of like if you've got a doll, you can then put the clothes on the top of it, and you'll understand how it all sits, rather than thinking, well, actually I need to make sure that I've got the clothes sorted first and then worry about how the body fits in that. So hang on, we've got shoulder, not feel the bits here, but just putting in the breasts on here. One thing that's, again, it's another thing I picked up ages back, was for getting breast done, to get like the ideal centerline, you, from the little dimple in the neck, if you will, you just sort of like draw a right angle but at 45 degrees, and it goes down, and that is your centerline there. Kind of in art stills, and watching a bunch of art streams and drawing along. Oh, cheers, thank you. I didn't actually. It's the weird thing. I've heard my own voice, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds really weird. It's the usual thing. You hear your own voice, and you're like, that's not the voice I hear when I speak. So I'm the last person that ever thought it'd be soothing at all, but I'm glad that it is helping. Yeah, it's one thing that kind of like that makes me kind of happy, is that if I can draw this and it gets people to get drawing again, or gives them inspiration to draw something brilliant, it's, mission complete in my end. I'm all for seeing people draw. I really love looking at people do art. Admittedly this was going back a while now because of the whole human malware issue, but I went to a convention and someone did commissions for D&D books, and you could have a character drawn on the front, so I got them to draw my normal character Loyu, and they did such a fantastic job, and it was fun just watching them. They used their own technique to build her up, and I was like, that's so different to how I do it, but I've learned a few new things. She's also Springfield in Girls Frontline, and now in Lavina. Ooh. And Kisaragi Honey in the best version of Cutie Honey. I'll hold my hand up, still not seeing Cutie Honey. I think I own it on DVD, I've just not yet got round to it. Oh, hang on, I need to figure this out. Hands are a pain. I don't know if anybody else does this, but when I'm drawing and I'm trying to figure out how things work, I'm there looking at my own hands, twisting my... It's like, so if I'm holding the hand this way, so the thumb's at that, right, okay, and then I've got to try and figure out how does it look from this. A lot of my characters probably have really weird anatomy because I'm too busy staring at my own self to figure it out. Oh, man. Again, it's another way that I've always drawn, is I've just, for the most part, especially when I started drawing a lot when I was in college, it was just, sadly enough, easier to use myself as a guide rather than go online, because it was, well, the internet was still fairly, I won't say new, but it was costly. And I remember we were restricted on how long we could be on the internet for, and it tied up phone lines, this, that, and the other. Oh, thank God them days are behind us. There's nothing worse than you decided I want to jump on the internet for something, and you'd hop on and you get a sharp yell from your parents because they were on the phone at the time, and all they get is the modem ringing. I said if you didn't grow up with that kind of trouble, you haven't missed out on anything. People go, oh, the good old days and all this stuff, and I think back to things like that, and I'm like, no, there was nothing good about that. Just me showing off how bloody old I am, I think. See, back in my day when Pluto was still a planet, and I think I've twisted that hand around too far. I have. Poo. Where did I put the eraser? There it is. I don't know, barrier to entry for the internet do keep little kids and troublemaking mothers up. Yeah, there is that. The advantage to my time on the internet was it was free of things like Facebook and all that sort of stuff. Little finger, not the thumb, so you want to try and show more fingers there. You'd have that part of the hand. Again, using myself as the model is not the best idea. Mostly because human bodies don't turn as much as you want them to when you want to look at them. So, let's quickly load up an image of Belfast. Okay. Just so I can get a rough idea of what I'm going to need to peg down for clothing. So she's got... Is that a strap that goes... So it goes over the shoulder. And it sort of follows around there. Okay. She hasn't got the collar. Yeah, the main reason for when I was thinking of these two, it literally is just because I've been playing the mobile games. And it's Yuri Horii for both. So it was just like, it made sense to do this one because it was something that stuck in my head. And again, it gives me a chance to draw something that isn't Loyu. It gives people a chance to see me drawing something that isn't Loyu, because I don't know about you guys, but you may be getting sick of the images of Loyu that keep cropping up. I can draw her till the cows come home, but I'm sure you guys want a bit of variety. And now is that a straight line? Oh, it varies in artwork. That's good then. Let's load up the official. Right, okay. Okay, so the official one is more. Yuri Horii is basically everything. Yep. Yeah, it's one of those things, it's sort of like you hear about Yuri Horii being in it and you're like, oh, yep, that doesn't surprise me. Need to try and source that cable knit sweater for us to do Casual Bell. Yes. That would be kind of awesome to see. And at least getting hold of the boxes of Pocky would be kind of easy as well. Or relatively easy, I should say. So then she has like a front panel and a line for the buttons. How many buttons are we looking at? 6. So at the minute I'm just using the official art to get a rough idea, albeit this does have her with a full rigging, so I don't know if that would also be... yeah, why not, let's give her the full rigging. So it's like a belt that comes around, so I think it'd be more belt there. Tuck that in. Her arms. I think it's the trouble is I tend to draw my ladies with fairly bulky arms, which, you know, isn't a bad thing. It's just you're trying to look at how they do their art and like, oh, they don't have arms with muscles everywhere. And the other thing I absolutely hate drawing, and now I'm just kicking myself for choosing these characters. I'm like, I hate the whole frilly, zigzaggy cravat. I don't know how you term it. It's the maid frills. They always cause difficulty for me to figure out how the best to draw them. I always figure it's easier to try and figure out where the top is and then just try and connect it with an S wibbly line fringe. Yeah, fringe, that'll do. That's a good enough word. I'll settle with that one. And then she's got full gloves, but her... So she would have that, and she's got little turrets on there. This is where we're actually probably going and finding an image of HMS Belfast and drawing the turret from there would probably be easier, but might be going a bit OTT. Annoyingly, the official art doesn't really show what the arms are like. So let's... Alright, okay, so they've just got it as plate armour, which curves. Oh, there we go. Although looking at this other one, they've drawn the armour just without the turrets on it. Oh, looks alright. Might go for that. But then you'd have... So more of these, so the frill comes out from here. So we'll draw the top one up there, curve around. Usually at this stage just simple scallops would be adequate, surely. Yeah, probably. It's one of these things, I'll just sketch it all in at the moment, and then probably amend it later on. I am just doing it on plain paper at the moment, and then what I will be doing once I'm happy with the image is I'll be able to trace it onto marker paper, and then I can colour it in with Copics and things like that. But I did have, from ages back, a huge amount of printer paper, so I use that for all my rough sketches. Get the rough sketches done and out of the way, and then yeah, you can always trace it onto marker paper, and then you know that you're not going to have any issues colouring it then. Now you see, this is where having someone who sort of does cosplay would also be beneficial, because, you know, you could also just get their assistance for drawings. I'm sure S would be very useful in being able to say, well, actually, if you want to have that line go here, because that's how it would go in the actual dress. And you're like, oh, okay. Right, that's enough of that. Let's... Ooh, no, that's Saren. Ah, good. So she has a dress that comes down to knees, but it's a very wide one. So let's put a curve in there. Curve in there. let's put another one in there to allow for dress to flow a bit, and then do the same on that side. And then her apron, from the looks of it, grabbing hold of the eraser to use it as a mouse, that's not going to work. So the apron, looking at that, curves around. Oh, that was just a top view. So it sort of curves around. And then becomes printer paper for the win. Yes, it's cheap, it's easy to get, and when I worked in the office it was also handy because it was the same medium as what I had at home, so it didn't matter, you know, how I drew it at work, it was going to be the same when I did it at home. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with using printer paper for sketching. In fact, a lot of my older drawings, especially the one I did at work, were all pencil coloured. And they were all done on printer paper, most because at work they used to print out our rotors for the day, and to be honest, when your rotor is, you know, you're going to be on the phones from, you know, 9 till 5 with your lunch break here and your 10-minute break in the morning, 10-minute break in the afternoon, you didn't need it for anything else, so you should just turn them over and sketch on the bike. And thankfully my manager didn't give two hoots as long as I did my job, which was to answer the phones. You know, if I didn't have any calls coming in, I could sit there and do drawings to my heart's content, because, you know, there wasn't anything else for me to do. Some of the other employees, they'd read books or things like that whilst waiting for calls, so yeah, I was lucky enough that they didn't really care that much at the time. And then unfortunately things changed, obviously, with the current situation, and that role was no longer one I could keep, mostly because they needed help elsewhere, so I agreed to help them out. And yeah, then it went from you've got all this time in the world to do whatever you want, to you're on the phones pretty much from the moment you come in to the moment you go, and if you're not on the phones you're doing back office work, and yeah, I just stopped drawing. So another reason why I like the idea of these streams is it's a dedicated time that I will draw, even if I don't feel like it. It's like literally before starting the stream I was like, oh, I'm really not, my head's not in the right place for doing drawing and things like that. But again, it's getting the actual pencil out and having a go at it, and I'm suddenly like, oh, actually I'm not so bad, you know, I'm getting there. Feet, my nemesis. I don't know if anybody else has just like any tips or anything like that for how to deal with feet, because I struggle. They're just, I suppose it's because I've never really paid attention to them, and it's not something that if I'm bored at work I can't just take my shoes off and start staring at my feet. Not if I want to keep the job. So yeah, I've never really paid much attention to feet. I know they've got toes, I know they've got pads and things like that, but I'm like, that's about as much as I've ever looked at, and I've never really been like, I'm going to spend time and stare at feet to figure out how to draw them. I should do if I want to get better at it, but it's, you know, there's a certain point where you want to make sure you're enjoying what you're studying, and feet just, they're not for me. I don't know how these shoes are supposed to go. They're not high heels, which a lot of them, well, I'll say they're not high heels. The official artist got her battle shoes on, so they've got like a 16-inch blooming wedge underneath them for the like the keel of the ship that she has, but I'm not going to bother with that. As I think it wouldn't really suit trying to have that as if someone's trying to serve drinks, them tiptoeing on these very fine edges. I've always found the whole thing that they do with it, they these artists who bring to life machines as like female incarnations. I find it brilliant how they can look at a machine and go, I see a character in that, and this is what that character looks like, and it's like, how did you... Well, I just see it as a machine. So I've always been kind of interested in the whole Mecha Masune, that's the word I was looking for earlier, sort of art style of taking a machine and then transforming it into, usually it's like a cute one or something like that, but I've seen some of the others where they've actually gone for men, but I think they mostly go for the ladies. One, because it's, you know, everyone likes drawing ladies, well, not everyone, but a lot of the artists out there like drawing that, and they know the audience, and the other part is that most machines are referred to as female, so you know, they draw it as ladies that way. Should make more effort to do drawing while I have work downtime, not as much as in the office because I like to run this term here. Yeah, there is that. It's the one thing I found being at home is I've, you know, before I started streaming, I didn't sketch because I was like, if I'm bored, I'll load up a computer game. So at least with the streaming, it's something where it's got me into it. You should try streaming. Give it a go, Varlon. Just do like a sketch stream, so you don't have to be aiming at anything in particular. You could just have it set up to have a sketch and a natter if anyone pops in, and you just sketch away. I'm not happy with the feet. Oh, it'll be fixed in post. Alright, so that's the basis of that. Now it's the worrying part, it's trying to get the face done. Oh, I do apologise if I'm going off camera. Just yell at me if the image slowly creeps further and further away. Yes, me and my highly professional setup that I have, which is my camera balanced on a tripod with a light fitting balanced on top of it all. Just so that if it gets too dark I can turn the light on and hopefully still keep everything in frame. But yeah, unfortunately I'm not one of those streamers where it's like the professional setups and things like that. It's standard gaming headset, standard webcam, and just everything else just happens on the fly as I go. And it works. You don't have to have a expensive setup to stream. And if, like me, you're doing it as an exercise in being active and doing things, you don't need to worry about spending lots. One thought I've been pondering long term is making an arc lamp and then making a camera track along it once I've got a printer. Ooh. Yeah, that'll be cool. I keep on meaning to learn Fusion 360 just so I can, you know, hijack people's 3D printers. It's one of those I sort of sit down and have a go at it, but I find it difficult to pick it up. And a lot of the videos for it are, it's trying to find a video that starts from the beginning, like a tutorial video. With like, here's what you need to do to start. A lot of them tell you how to get the results that I'm looking for, but you've got to know this, that and the other before you even get there. And I'm like, can you at least show me how to start from scratch? What I'm doing here is just using one of the official bits of art for Saren to try and get her eye shape sorted. So I can try and get the eyes done right. So she's getting up to there. eyes were one of my favourite things to sketch whilst, if I was on the phone and it was like, waiting for a solicitor to pick up the phone or something like that, or the usual doodle that you do when you're on hold waiting for someone to just sketch eyes. They are one of the most expressive parts on the face, especially in like anime style drawings, so the more practice you get with them, the better. So if you can draw really good eyes, the rest of it is, I've seen some artwork where some of the anatomy is a bit off, but the eyes are so fantastic you don't really notice, just because your eyes are drawn naturally to looking at the actual eyes that have been done. In fact, there was one I was looking at the other day and it was just a collection of eyes, and it was almost mesmerising to look at, to be honest. So Pixiv has been a wonderful place to find. Yeah, a lot are, how to do 3D modelling or CAD, so we'll skip that. Yeah. I said it's so far been my only complaint with it all is a lot of it is, so you must know how to do this, and I'm like, well, no, I don't actually. That's why I'm looking for tutorials. I did get one sent to me, which I've got to go through, but there's like 100 and odd videos, and a lot of them are, we'll show you how to make this. But as you start loading the video, it's like, right, so in order to do this, you need to have seen our video on this. So you watch that other video, and then that video's like, so in order to do this, you need to, and you just going back in the videos to find the one that basically says, so you're a beginner at this, we're going to show you from scratch. That's the other thing I always struggle with, is figuring out where the eyes would go. As much as I love drawing them, I'm useless at drawing too. Which is a bit of a problem when you try and draw people, because generally people have two eyes. I think I've angled that one too high, I'm not sure. Shins, nice. More triangular eyebrows. The way I see eyebrows is you've either got the bushy ones, which are essentially a circle at the start, and then two lines that curve out, or you've got the triangular ones where you're creating a triangle. I'm sure there's many more than that, but the ones I generally see either are just literally they've just drawn a line, and you're like, oh. So I could prefer my eyebrows to have a bit of something to them. But then again, when I draw her, she's got fairly thick eyebrows. So again, I always do my best to try not to copy that when I'm doing other works. It's great if what you're trying to do is have your character in other characters, like cosplaying as other characters, but if you're trying to do fan art or anything like that, it's not fantastic. And that eyebrow's wrong. And the other advantage as well to using printer paper is it doesn't matter how much you mess it up, it doesn't cost a lot. It's not like you've just wasted a sheet of fairly expensive marker paper. I call it marker paper, bleed proof paper, or whatever else it gets called. I've seen it marketed as many things. Essentially it's the paper that I use for when I'm using my Copic alcohol markers. So it doesn't bleed through the colour to underneath, or if I was to use a Copic marker on here, if you're not aware of them, on ordinary printer paper, you would find it would sort of splodge out, if you will. If you had like a fine line you wanted to draw through, the paper would suck it up with the capillary action, so you'd have a very splodgy line to it. Whereas on the marker it's a crisp line. You draw a crisp line, you get a crisp line. And it also doesn't bleed through to the layers underneath. It's just, to get it in quantities, it can get expensive. So I do my best to make sure that any roughs I do are on printer paper, because that way when I mess up, because I know I will, I'm not like, oh no, I've just wasted a sheet of paper that, might cost 20 pence for the paper. Rough guess, I've not actually worked out how much it is per sheet, but it's just an economy thing. Alright, so I was about to draw her little hairbands, but she wouldn't have them. Go back to Belfast. Actually, no, she probably would. No, they are more for. I think I'll keep, just looking at the two, Saren has two side burn bangs. I don't know terminology for her, sorry. Being a bold idiot doesn't help. So yeah, she's got basically two bits of hair that run down the side of the head. And she's got a little bow on each of them. Whereas Belfast, if I bring that up, I'm going to say it again, guys, so we won't always get people, her hair, because, I always get that one confused. She's on one side got the bang, but on the other side it's sort of pulled back around the head, if that helps. And if I draw it from looking in from the right side, so you'd have her ear, and then it's pulled around to a point, almost like to a ponytail on that side, but she has the bang on the other. So what I'll probably do is keep the hairstyles the same, including giving Saren's ribbons on here, even though it's part of her other uniform, just because you can't put the ribbons on Belfast, if that makes any sense. Sorry if I'm speaking a lot of nonsense to people. So I'm primarily a digital artist, but when I do traditional work with graphite and Prismacolors, I like a smooth feel of printed paper, plus it's affordable. Yes. So I do a bit of digital work, but it's recently I've just found it easier to do paper-based. I've had issues last year, and it has caused some problems for me, and I found trying to do digital work has really strained the eyes. So at the minute, until I'm better, I'll stick with traditional. Nothing against digital, I love doing it, mostly because at least with digital you've got Control Z. Problem solved. The amount of times I'm sketching and I'll be there with the tablet and I'll draw, no, dot line, delete, draw, delete, draw, delete, draw, and do it like 200 times until I get the perfect curve. Whereas on paper I find it a lot easier to get that curve straight away. But then with a lot of my old pencil drawings I would colour them in on the computer afterwards anyway. And again, all my digital stuff was self-taught, so I'd pick up a program and see how I got used to it. I mostly use Open Canvas. I don't know like what you use yourself for colouring. I did get, was it Clip Studio that I got recommended, which I've got to figure out how to use, because that does vectors and things like that, but it also does animation. Photoshop and Krita. Oh, Krita, is that the free one? Is that the one I'm thinking of? That's right. I've heard of it before, and it's one that I haven't looked into just because I'm so used to Open Canvas. I'm like, I'll stick with what I've got, but I might actually look into that one. Oh, it is wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I could always have a look into it. I've no issues sort of hopping between the lot. I mean, I used to use Photoshop a lot until it was just not economical to try and get hold of it. And that was a fun thing for me to use. It was good when it worked. When it decided that it wanted to do what it wanted to do. We had falling outs. Uh, you could usually tell when I was using Photoshop because I'd be cursing like a trooper. But yeah, a lot of all my original digital art I did in Photoshop. And I'm aware it's a really powerful program, but I then came across Open Canvas and went for that one just because it had the ability to turn the canvas on the screen. Does Krita let you do that, so you can literally turn the page on the screen as you want, so when you're drawing? I'm assuming it does, but it's yeah, it does. Alright, that's fine. I'll have a look into that one then, because it may be that it's more suited for the colours that I want to do, because it's Open Canvas is okay, but I'm still got to get used to all the brushes. So a lot of the colouring I do on there isn't stellar. So I've no problems actually trying other programs and giving them a whirl and see how I do with them. But I'll look into that one then. So thanks for bringing it up, because it's one of those where I've heard of it before, but with memory issues and everything, I've forgotten about it soon enough. So at least now I can, I've got it noted. I can have a look at that one later on. Right, so bows are just above ear height. But yeah, another handy thing as well, just randomly thinking about if you get like artist block and such, is if you do stream, by all means go onto your stream and ask for people to give you suggestions. There'll be no shortage of people saying, oh, actually do this, put the character in this pose. It's where all the little chippers I did earlier. I actually just turned around to people and said, give me pose ideas. I want to draw something, but I'm not sure what. So if rather than me thinking of a pose I could draw and drawing it, I was like, give me a pose and I'll see what I can do. In fact, did I finish colouring? It just hit me, I don't think I actually finished colouring what I did last week, so I'll quickly pop that one on. So one of the first requests I had was the Sailor Moon pose, which was kind of interesting because I've never actually seen Sailor Moon, but that's, get it on camera, was what I did. And then I coloured it after stream, and I just remembered I never actually showed it up because it was never shown on stream. But yes, that's what I ended up doing. And it was interesting because it was going to be originally Loyu in that pose, and then I was like, well, I might as well draw Sailor Moon herself and sketch from there, because I had to use a reference image to figure out how to draw the pose. So I was like, well, whilst I've got this up, I might as well just go from there and see what happens. And I said, yeah, the others I've done, which were the 3 I showed earlier on, I've still yet to colour them in, but I have a friend who does art herself, and she does like to do colouring, so I'm half tempted to actually just send them to her as a... I have sort of said to her before that I'll send her some images to colour in, so I'm tempted to send them to her as well, and be like, there you go, you can have them to colour. Although I do have an idea for an image I'm going to be drawing to send up to her, but as I am aware that she might also be on the stream and have not said anything yet. She likes to lurk. I won't actually say what that is just yet, but once I've sent it up to her, I'll get the image put on. Right, so that's the easy one done, as in that's just putting Saren in a maid outfit. Oh, can't have a maid outfit without the headband, of course. So we'll have it come out front, back, front, back, front, front, back. There. Looks awful. But I can neaten that up when I transfer it over. Again, I hate drawing frills. Why do I choose characters with frills when I hate drawing them? Okay, so that's her done. Now, this is the one I'm not looking forward to, is getting Saren's outfit. What I'll do is quickly load up an image of her so I can then actually show you what I'm aiming for. Let's know we keep referring to the character you may not even have seen. I'll just get that loaded up on there. Must I figure out? So she has a sword. Now ideally I want it back to back. So let's just put something there. So, hand on sword perhaps? Let's have a quick look at some of the other official ones. Because the one downside with one of the sites I use to look at the images is, yeah, a lot of them is not the kind of stuff that you could actually use as reference material. Not on Twitch, anywho. But then they do have chibis, which is always good. One reason I like chibis is they will take the base characteristics of a character and use them, usually in comically oversized proportions, but they give you an idea of what defines that character. So you can look at a chibi and go, oh, the hairstyle is going to be XYZ because on the chibi they have highlighted that particular aspect of the hair. So chibis aren't a bad way of getting a gist of a character. Alright, you've played Prince House, okay then. Mostly because my phone doesn't have a Wi-Fi signal in this room, so it's like, fudge it. The downside to this room is it's nice and big, but there's so many brick walls that the Wi-Fi just doesn't get through them. I'm like, brilliant. Right, okay, so... Oh, actually, right, first of all, let's try and get the shoulders at the same height. That would be a good one. I'm trying to reference where the knees are and you can't even see them. That leg should be more there. That one will come out more to there. So yeah, shoulders are doing that. Hips are doing that. That. I think more there. And thus we start fleshing out the stick figure. So the idea that just crops into my head was having one arm folded across the chest and the other one sort of raised, not so much in the Ojo-sama ha 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 pose, but it's raised up to the head and sort of almost like holding an invisible tray, if you will. Would it just be there? Oh, hi Saber. Welcome to the stream. I see you're still trying to be a ninja. So, yeah, it is that way. Sorry, I just had to suddenly remind myself which way the grouping on the legs go. It was, on a lot of my early images you'll see it's the wrong way around, because I used to get confused with, so I'm going to be really exaggerated here, but you've got your legs, and you've got the muscles that bulge out there, and you usually can see someone here, but I used to draw them the other way around. So the characters would have like essentially like the shins there, and then the legs would bulge out here, but the feet would still be pointing forwards. It took an age before I figured out I was getting that the wrong way around. It's amazing to look back at some of my old artwork and be like, oh yeah, that's hideously wrong now. Whoops. But it's, you know, looking back and seeing what I've improved on. And also there's no harm in actually going back and doing some of the old works again. I've done that with a couple of mine. I've gone back after having been really proud of how I did them as a kid. I wanted to look at them now and go, oh my god, that's awful. It's just no. And then having to decided I'm going to redraw that one. And then you sit back at the end of it and you look at the original and you look at what you've done and you're like, that looks so much better. And it's just such a nice feeling to get to see improvement. Oh, it sounds really daft, but yeah, it's one of these things, because as you gradually improve doing art, you may not notice the improvements. So you just keep on churning away at the art and not really know how much you've improved. But actually going back to an old piece and doing it again, and then looking at how you've improved is fantastic. So if you haven't done that, I just recommend it. Again, just use it as a reference. Look at the pose, look at the character, and say, right, I'm going to do that again, and redo it as you would do now, and then compare the two, and you will see the improvements. So it's definitely one of those exercises that's worth doing. Although for a lot of people could be telling you to suck eggs at this moment, you know, you might be like, I do that anyway, why are you telling me that? But for those that don't, it's an idea. That's annoying. All these pictures I've got of Sarah, none of them actually show her footwear. Where's the chibi? Come back, chibi. Oh, so many of her in a swimwear, and I'm like, I don't want bloody swimwear. Oh, there's a chibi image, so we're looking, it looks like ankle boots. I'm gonna go ankle boots. Small best ninjas, always be repeating after all. Yeah. I know that's a song reference, don't ask me to say which song, because I'm never gonna remember. As we discussed earlier, Saber, I'm not very up on... I'll have heard songs, but if you say, oh, what the name of that song? I'm like, I have no idea. It was just a song I heard. My song knowledge is almost as bad as my movie knowledge. Which, for anyone who actually knows me, I'm one of these people you turn around and they'll be like, oh, have you seen XYZ movie? And I'll be like, nope. And it'd be like the most popular movie ever. Everyone's like, watched it, and I'm just like, nope, not seen it. And I'm not talking about like modern ones. You know, what was it? It was because I was given quotes from it, but I never actually knew what it was from. And my mind's blanked on the name of it now. Because I've got Princess Connect stuck in my head, and I'm like, that's not the name of the bloody movie. Brain, work. Come on. Princess Bride. I'll get there eventually. Just takes a while for the old grey cells to kick in. But yeah, Princess Bride. You know, let's have a look. It's not exactly a modern movie, but I could give quotes from it, but I'd never actually seen it. And then people are like, "You've not seen The Princess Bride?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, well, that's where the quote's from. I'm like, "Oh, didn't know that." 1987. So yeah, not exactly modern. Yo, Karen, welcome to the stream. So we're just discussing currently my lack of movie knowledge. I'm one of these people where, you know, you can turn around and say, oh, have you seen such an old movie? And I'm like, nope. I'm not alone. Seriously, Sabre, it's a good one to watch. If you get a chance to, go out and watch it. Because you're probably like me, you can probably... Alright, no worries. Thank you very much for popping in anyway. I do hope you at least enjoyed your time here. It's been great to have you, and take care, and hopefully your class goes well. That's good then. Mission accomplished. So yeah, take care, and see everyone next time. Which movie are we talking about? Princess Bride. So it's the one where it's the story... The kid's ill in bed, so his grandpa comes in to read him a bedtime story, which is The Princess Bride. Yeah. And it's one of those that is very quotable, and a lot of people will know a lot of the quotes. And even I knew some of them. Yes, Uncle played by Columbo. Yes, it is. That's all I ever seen. What's it? Is it Peter Falk? I think, is it? No, it was Columbo. I think it was Peter Falk was his name. One of those detectives that I used to love. When I knew Columbo was on, I'd watch it happily, and I didn't like detective shows as a kid. But yeah, Columbo was definitely one I could quite happily watch if I knew it was on. I'd just sit down and watch it. And just one more thing. Right, I've got to try and figure out this dress now. I'm not happy with that arm though. It looks odd. Hang on, I'm just going to pose on myself to figure this out. So that hand is there. So we've got little finger running up the arm, thumb cusp, those fingers going across. If I look on camera, I've just realised the benefit of having a webcam. I can actually look at myself from an angle I can't normally get. Ooh, this is awesome. Oh dear. And everyone's like, oh god, he's discovered technology. Get him away from it. You know what I'm like with technology? Is anything more complex than turning a kettle on, we're doomed. Even someone argue me turning a kettle on is bad enough. I've also been watching Short playing Papers, Please. Ooh, yes, I have seen that she has been having a go at that, so it's one for me to watch. I've been tempted to pick up Papers, Please and play it again. I've got it, I just haven't played much of it. And it's one of those that, watching them stream, I'm like, oh yeah, I've got that game. along with loads of other games that I've got I need to do. I keep saying, oh, I need to play such a game. I need to finish what I've already started. I've decided after the stream I've got to try and load up Death Stranding and carry on with that. Because it's one of those I've got quite far through, I think. It's kind of hard to tell because I've never played it before, so I don't know where the end is. But I think I'm at least like 2/3, if not half to 2/3 way through, give or take. And I don't want it to be one of those where I've left it for a few weeks and I go back to it and I'm like, what was I doing again? Because I've done that so many times. Skyrim was the biggest one for that. I'd play so much Skyrim, I'd do all the side quests, and then I'd put it down and not come back to it for months, and I'd come back to it and like, what was I doing? I'll start again. I must have started Skyrim about I'm going to say probably around about 12 times. Probably more, but I'm sort of being conservative with my estimate, saying 12. And I'd never finished it until recently, and I was just like, I am going to finish this. Kettle on, excellent idea. I've just talked about ordering food though, I don't know how time is going to work out. Well, you could get a brew now and get one when the food arrives. More tea is always good. That's why I'm streaming. Persistence at streaming the game until it's done. Yeah, I mean, it'd be one of those I would possibly look at streaming Death Stranding, but given the fact that my computer struggles with Hitman, I think it would struggle with Death Stranding. Just because it is... I mean, it runs fine on my PC, it's just I know that Hitman runs fine on my PC. And I figure it would just be too much for the PC to handle as well as streaming it. So, oh. Alright, okay, let's figure out this. Right, let's not make the same mistake I did before. Let's at least get her hair done right. Gotta remember to enunciate my stuff whilst I'm on here. Or at least stuff that I know is going to confuse people, because otherwise with my normal lanky twang a bit, her, and people are like, what? As for Papers vlogs, I've watched people play, it seems fun, given a kind of plan to leave it at that. Less detain and more yeet. Yeah, that would be kind of a interesting. Papers, please, or get yeeted. So, oops, oh, that's too frowny face. Alright, Belfast, where are you? I love the fact I clicked on one of the reference images that I had because I was looking at the arms, and then it just loads up and it's just chest. I'm like, yep, that's definitely 5 days and going back to go to slow pace of stream. Yeah. So you need to pick a god. Oh yes, yes. How about the god of tea? At least a crocodile trap mod, yes. Yeah, surely there's like a god of tea somewhere there. Or, you know, for you it'd be a god of coffee, I know. Alright, and again, just gonna sketch the eyes. One of the reasons for picking Belfast was she was the character that got me interested in Azur Lane. because at the time I was playing Kanko, and then I saw this, this upstart thing, Azure Lane, and it's another clone game trying to do boat girls and all that sort of stuff. But I'll keep my eye on it, see what it's going to be. And it just turned out that the gameplay was, in my opinion, far better. Mileage may vary for some people, but I did so prefer the gameplay in Azure Lane over Kanko. So, narrowed it down to Calistia, Goddess of Lust, Revenge and Trickery, Desna, Goddess of Luck, Shahs and Travellers, Ursha, and Goddess of Art, Beauty, Love and Music. I'd go for the first one, Calistia. That sounds like a good god. Yeah, that suits me. Still think Kanko's better character designs. Yes, it's one of those. I found a lot of the designs for Azure Lane have been, they've grown on me just because I've played the game a lot. But there are still some Warspite that I think are far better in Kanko. Who doesn't love a granny in a wheelchair? Oh, is that too... Oh, that was too tilted. That's too tilted. Balls. Trying to weigh up benefits. When picking a god, it's not just about the ethos, it's about what the god can do for you. Lust, Revenge and Trickery. I'm trying to figure out... Well, apart from the trickery thing, but... Non-Lali Nagamon is definitely fought. Yes. Yeah. Never quite understood that move, to be honest. I understand that the whole destroyers lollipop thing, because destroyers are small ships, yada yada yada, kinda makes a bit of sense. Somewhat. But then Nagato is odd. Because it can't be that, she's an old ship, therefore that's that, because you got Mikasa. And Kanko has arguably better designs for most of its roster, but Azure Lane is more diverse. Yeah, there is that. Less potatoes in Azure Lane though, which, depending on your point of view, is a good or a bad thing. And there's some of the other things the game as well, is some of the actual characters, the personalities of such, I liked better in Kanko than I do in Azure Lane, and then some of the others are just reversed. Will say, much prefer Kanko's rendition of Arc though. I love the design in Azure Lane, it's the character part of it that I'm not sold on, to be honest. Okay, hang on. This is giving me headaches because now the art. Does she not have any? Right, what? Where's Mementos? Let's load up more Belfast. Never a bad thing. Just having a flick through the art here, and she's got. It doesn't look like she's got that bang on with just one side now. It looks like she doesn't have that either. Let's give me more official art. Let's put that in the tag. Official art. I still like some of the designs from the Chinese knockoff. I always thought, to be honest, Azure Lane was the Chinese knockoff. But it amuses me how all the games agree British made chips. Well, yeah. Can't go wrong with that. Right, so that's just her on that side covering that eye. No, that's not Belfast. That's because she's got a doll. Right, okay, I get it now. I was like, that's Edinburgh, that's not Belfast. Come on, official art, give me a view from the right hand side of her head. You give me all left head shots here, it's not helping. Oh, wait, that is a shot from the Animu. That is as close to official as I'm going to get. Oh, Warship Rose, yes, yeah. Some of the Kanko designs are here. I've not actually seen Kanko Soda, to be honest. And Shibafu, is that Potato Man? That's all that sort of really annoys. A lot of them have like the like potato faces. A few flat spots in Azure Lens, like Ark's personality, yes. And then, yeah, Mutsuki and Gisuru. No, actually, so, finally, because it took a bloody age to load, God knows what, hang on, what is the file size on that one? It's only 3 meg, why did it take so bloody long to load? Yeah, so, what she has, from the looks of that, is swept hair that comes from about mid and curves down one side of the face, and then she's got the hair pulled back on there, so there is no bang as such, it's just this is literally swept hair down. So that is what I shall go for. So it is from about there that she has it come down. So look. Yep, covers that, and then it curves back there. Right, okay. So trying to find the main defining lines of the hair and then work from there, so it doesn't help that I've got my sketch lines in the background. But she has hair that sort of curves down here. Hidekaga Kagi, most of the yeah, it's the one I'm thinking on, yeah. HMS Line is still one of my favourite designs. I'd have to Google that one up again, just to have a look. I know I've seen it, but memory. Any of the party baptised on Sunday? No. And that's for a Pathfinder game, not an actual baptism, because this was a literal baptism of fire. But no, none of the party did. There was the Dwarf Kid, there was Sir Elbon, the elf guy. There was a family, and that was it. Sir Lawrence, yeah, that was it. It was close enough. You knew who I meant. Just realised that Elrond is bloody Lord of the Rings. Whoops. Getting confused. But yeah, I won't lie, for the circus one, character design is going to be kind of easy-ish. I'll be using a VTuber design as a base and working from there. Which anyone who knows me, if I've mentioned circus performer as a base for a character design, you know exactly who I'm going for. Just, minus the animal ears and such. The father, 2 kids, and the dwarf. Yeah, the dwarf, the son. Can I have an image of Belfast where she doesn't have her... Oh, okay. see, can I get on larger? Yes, I can. That's actually really useful because that's very much like Siren's hair. Okay. So first of all, let's. So she's got a braided bit going down there. I think I need to bring that more there. That's what's looking a bit off on that, because she has more natural curve out on that. Flick that hair out there. The Defiance on, yeah. Yes. Doing it to spite his father. Still not happy with this hand actually. I'm probably going to end up changing that one, but it'll do as a basic pose for now. That's all it has to do. Alright, so let's load up Siren again and start screaming as I figure out how the hell. Why did I think this would be a good idea? Siren's outfit is ridiculous in comparison. So we've got that. She's then got a cravat. I think that's what they're called. Frilly as hell thing. Again, frills. Why? Why must you taunt me so? She has what looks to be a cape. Yep. So. Doesn't help though, and every time I look at Lion, all I can think of is Mayan, and I'm like, I just imagine, you know, Lion being some kind of like fantastic singer. Right. She's then got those annoying puffy sleeves that they always seem to put on fantasy girls, and I'm like, I can never draw them. The V is there, but then it is bare arm until fancy gauntlet. Little monkeys. Oh, monkeys indeed. Yeah, it's too high as well. Put that hand too high. Oops. Put the hand too high. I've also eradicated part of her face. And I'm not happy with how I've done that face, to be honest. That's going to get changed. That eye is too high. Monkeys. Yep, it's that part of the screen now where I'm like, yeah, this looks okay, and they're like, nope, it looks awful. Scratch it. Anyway, let's try and get this arm guard done because it's a really weird shape. it's almost like it flares out. I've done the hand, but now I'm trying to figure out how it would be. Perhaps more of the come hither hand. So oh, it needs to be rotated more. Ooh, talk about Warship Girls, did a great design of Missouri to match Kankol's. I should have a look there. Also about the design and wish to think they make convincing sister ships. Yes, I'll have a look at that one. Do it again. Right, so hang on. Now, what angle am I looking at this from? Yeah, I can't get it right on camera. My arm doesn't want to turn. No, yes, maybe. So you've got round of thumb and just the bottom of that finger. Right, okay, let's try that. No, it's not working. So hands there. Don't quite think I've got the angle I needed on the camera, so I'll have to fudge it. That fingers were too long, so it should be about there. Right, so that's that. So let's put the puffy sleeve on the other side. She's just got a blouse top, creases at the bottom. Need to put more armour around there. There'll also be on there. So in here I can try and get that weird ass shade that's on that guard. It's one of these shapes I'm sure if you tried making it into actual armour it wouldn't actually work. But it looks flowery and good enough for a fantasy world setting, so they roll with it. Typical fantasy setting stuff. At least it's not booby armour. Right, and then she's got a top, and so it comes, oh, this is actually part going down into the skirt, so it comes down. If I drop it over that side, and again coming down there, drop it off, held together two straps, with that kind of head on them. Yeah, bring away again, do apologise. It is something where there's no harm in drawing like this, sketching out the design shape that you see to then make it easier to neaten it up later on. Because you can at least roughly sketch something on there and then you know what it is you're aiming for. Armour piece. Okay, so this is three pieces. Looks like it's got a crest. And it drops down. And then comes around. I don't know if it goes all the way around or not, so let's assume no until we find otherwise. And the next one is more an extravagant piece. As it curls around. There, and then the last one, which probably, yeah, she's going to be that way. And that's the really extravagant bit. Right, so under here we have a bloody frills. Right, okay. So if I split that into two, let's say that's where that goes, and then it is. Oh, frilly. Goddamn frills. You know what, just to save time and mental anguish, I'm just going to sketch some S-curves in there for now. Because that comes down. You've then got this piece of the dress which almost looks like it's starchy. Cut out. I think that's to there. Because you've got the frilly dress underneath that. So you probably still have it there as well then. And then just to really rub it home, it's a dress under here. And no prizes for guessing how the bottom of the dress is. Right. Oh, evening, Jay. Okay, Carol, no worries. Enjoy your game. Catch you later. I'm just working away here, cursing frills. Why are they in fashion? Why does fashion have to have frills? Curse you, fashion. Curse you. Let's do that. Looks a bit better. Yeah. Alright, okay. Yes, my thoughts exactly there. Why? Although I've just noticed that's going to need to be more that way. Oh well, let's carry on with the rest of it. So we've got let's get rid of all that junk so it makes things a bit easier to see. Yeah, that frilly dress has to go up. Yeah, put it down too low. I'm just raising this out because I love drawing frills so much I've decided I'm going to draw them again. Or I'm just going to draw lines where it should be, and I shall worry about that in a minute. I'll also try and get these legs sorted, so that would have to be there. Not that line. And I'm wondering... that leg looks really odd, sticking out there. Actually, if I had that leg stick straight out, so it would come down, knee, because then she could be I think it looks better. I'll do that. Maybe Jane needs to step up for it. Yep, no worries. That's superb. Thanks for hanging around in the meantime. If you ever need to pop out, you know, by all means, feel free to drop out and do things. Because frills and ruffles equals fancy, expensive and elegant. And a sod, yes. I agree 100% with what you said, but it also means it's a sod. Alright, so, where's that chibi image? Chibi. Nope, that's the swimsuit one. I really should get rid of that swimsuit one, because it's not going to help. You know, on the account of, well, this not being a swimsuit image. And she has like a funky toe design. It goes up and then around. So let's go from the heel is actually really well done. I'm sure looking at this boot design, I'm like, this would be uncomfortable as all hell to wear. And I've skirmished in like jungle boots, like Vietnam era ones, where it's like the up to your heels is, you know, just underneath your heels is supported and the rest is a fabric, and they are a pain to run around in. Oh dear, work being, well, I won't say work, customers being more of a pain in the arse again. Because I know it's probably less the work and more just the customers being the goits. Shiters, scum. Yeah, the world would be a far better place if everyone, when they finished school, before they went into college or anything like that, had to do at least a year in retail. Just imagine the improvements you'd get. Like how people would actually understand and not be able to douchebags. A worker was coughed on intentionally as retaliation against the 1 adult per trip rule. Okay. I sincerely hope, like, that got pushed further, like, you know, police, because I'm sure that's... I mean, apart from just being utterly fucking wrong. Although, knowing who you work for, they probably don't want to push it too far, because we don't want to upset the customers. That's where the money comes from. If they would intentionally coughed on me, I probably just punched him out, but, you know, that's one reason why I don't work there anymore. Can't stand that shite. Oh, they were just told to leave. Well, as Taylor pointed out, yeah, it could be considered assault. And yeah, I would have gone all out, and I'm going, no, I want to press charges. You know, and watch them complain about that then. It's like, oh, yeah, we're following rules and regulations, you know, put in place not just for your safety but for ours. Oh, you don't like it? You're going to cough me deliberately? Right, assault. And again, the company's probably like, oh, it's too much hassle to go down that route. Yeah. Yeah. Again, get people to work retail for a year and see how they bloody handle it. But you're at least not in work at the moment. So, you know, just chill out and let that just be part of the past. Face, visor, gloves and 2 masks. Yep, don't blame me on that one. You know, and I'm from... It's probably going to, like, get me, but I'm from the other end of the spectrum where it's... I don't fear the current crisis. I respect it. And the difference being is that, you know, some parts of it I don't agree with, but at the same token, you know, I don't turn around and make a fuss over it because it's what they've put in place. You know, especially with face masks. I don't like wearing face masks because it just causes my throat to go all funky afterwards. But at the same time, if I want to go shopping, I wear a fucking face mask because you've got to. Plain and simple. Whether I like it or not is irrelevant. You know, it's you wear a face mask. I am 100% behind getting rid of this stupid medical exemption for face masks. I'm sorry, but if you can't wear a face mask because of a medical exemption, then you shouldn't be outside. Because you're the kind of person who, if you got COVID, you die. Because if you have an issue wearing a face mask and that affects your breathing or whatever, then you've obviously got an issue where, you know, COVID is going to kill you, so stay indoors. Otherwise, wear a fucking face mask, whether you like it or not. Because I had a guy kicking off at the shop here. He didn't want to wear a face mask. I'm medically exempt, he said. I was like, okay. He's like, you can't ask for proof, you can't do this, you can't do that. I said, yeah, but I can tell you to get out of the shop. I said, you've put your stuff into wash. I said, now you go and sit in your car and wait for it. You can't tell me to do that. I went, yeah, I can. It's private property, mate. I can tell you what the fuck we need to. I said, and if you're not wearing a face mask, then you put your stuff into wash and then you sit in your car and you wait for it to finish. And then when the shop is empty, you can come in and pick it up. But he was getting shirty at other customers because, you know, he wasn't wearing a mask, so he was one of those who I think just... He didn't have a medical exemption, he was just being an arsehole. And I'm just like, just get rid of the bloody exemption thing. Problem solved. You have to wear one or you don't get entry. Boom. And then I think about places like, where I work, and it's like, oh, you have to wear a face mask when you walk around the office, but you don't wear one when you're sat at your desk because you're on a phone. I'm like, so how does that help? How does that protect us? It doesn't really, because, germs can travel. But, oh well. Anyway, we shall talk about subjects that are by far more interesting. How about some paint drying? What's your favourite colour to watch? Pro tip, never watch gloss paint dry. It's really confusing. Right, so, getting back to the picture at hand, I'm going to eradicate that. That's a bit better there. Bring that in there. It still doesn't scream Belfast. I think I need to do the face better. Let's try. What's the worst that can happen, right? Right. Belfast. Right, so let's go. One advantage to having collected so many anime figurines over the years is the ability to sort of sit back and think how the face would look in 3D. It's not guaranteed to get the perfect image, but at least gives me a somewhat healthier start. That's too high. Balls. Oh yeah. Where's the nose? Not right. Still not right. She's got a lot squarer eyes. Hello, Banana, welcome to the stream. Glad you could join. You should watch me murder this character's face for like the umpteenth time. How are you this evening? went to the store and got snackies. Ooh, cookies? I'm assuming there'll be cookies. Heck yeah, cookies and biscuits and crisps. Yeah, I don't blame you. I was going to do the same, going to go shopping, and I was like, oh, I'll pop into Lidl and pick up the cereal, because I buy bucket loads of cereal from Lidl because it's cheap, and it makes a fantastic snack. And they're closed for refurbishment. I was like, no, what am I going to do for my cereal fix? So I had to go to Iceland. The other thing I like about Lidl is, again, they do like cheap biscuits and stuff, so I usually get a few packs of them in to sit around. Their hobnobs are great, by the way. If you like hobnobs, get the little ones, they're great. But yeah, got the shopping delivery going to be arriving tomorrow. I'll get like a monthly shop done. Got that eyes too small. So I got that ordered in. Because I don't have a car, I do the online shop stuff. And then when it turns up, I just cart out one of the huge cardboard boxes. Usually the one that I have the plushies sat on behind me. I sort of upend that one and take that out to dump it all in instead of carrier bags. Oh, no, that's awful. Try that again. Still not happy with it, but at this rate I'm not going to have any bloody paper left if I keep rubbing it out. I can fix it when I transfer it onto the other paper. So I can get a rough idea of what I need. I'll worry about trying to get her eyes better. It's still not right though. It's going to bug me. But I got the majority of this done, so at least it's... To say I had literally no idea what I was going to draw at the start of the stream, I think I've done okay. Random idea in head, and I went, oh, roll with that and see what happens. So 3 food groups: coffee, cookies and pizza. Yes, they are perfectly valid food groups. In fact, I'm probably going to have pizza for tea tonight. No Lidl near. No! I found Lidl the best out of the two, between like the Lidl and Aldi. But yeah, I'm totally going to wind up with one of those old pensioner trolleys. Oh, you mean like the zippy go-karty ones? Yeah, I like the idea of getting one of them. Like the lady with a tea tray, yes. So what this is the 2 mobile games that I'm playing, Princess Connect and Azure Lane. Yui Horii does the voice of a character in each. So we've got Saren, the actual lady from Princess Connect, in Belfast's outfit, and Belfast in Saren's outfit. So it's the character, just swap the costumes over. Just as a random thought exercise, and I thought I'll give it a whirl. The chance to draw other characters and sort of hopefully learn from them how the characters are done, and then maybe I can apply that to my own. Like, no frills. Seriously, don't give if you're going to design characters, don't give them frills. Frills are a pain in the backside to draw. I mean, I really should have tried skimping out and going for the Belfast's China dress, but you know, her normal look is made, but this is all frill. She has a frilly bit under here, which I've got to draw in, and I'm just like, oh, I hate frills. It's such a sod to draw. Even more of a sod to colour. But yeah, costume switch. Because I don't think there's actually any for this on there, to be honest, on the borrow. I didn't do much of a search before, but yeah, I'm probably going to end up doing these again. I might even redraw them without tracing, just make them one sheet each. Again, this is more just a rough idea sketch, but that way at least I can try and get the proportions a bit better, because I think Belfast should be a bit taller, thinking on it. But, you know, that's something I can fix in post. Like everything, fix it in post. Ooh, and whilst you're here, because you won't have seen... where did I put them? I had the chibis. I put them somewhere. So, you remember last week I asked for pose suggestions for the chibis? Well, I'd finished them up. I just need to erase the pencil lines now, but I can colour these in when the refills arrive. So yes, and I'm trying to work out how this works on camera. So there's Loyu with the banhammer. Starlight Road, doing the jump. And when I have the speed lines in, that's the superhero pose, having just landed. And yeah, you can probably guess which character that one is. So yeah, they'll get them coloured in. Like I said, I had the shipping notification from Copic, so they should... I was hoping they'd arrive today, but they didn't, so I'm going to assume they'll be tomorrow, so I won't get them until Friday, because they won't be able to post them because I don't have a front door, so they'll take them back to the depot, so I'm going to go down and pick them up. It's a whole barrel of laughs with that situation. In fact, I'm just going to be cheeky and have a quick look and see if they tried to deliver today and just didn't stick their red card through, because that's something else Royal Fail like to do. Nope, nothing on there. That's fine, so they haven't got around to trying to deliver yet. No. Well, hopefully it'll be there soon enough, if nothing else in time for the end of the week streams. Because yes, that looked adorable when I looked at the images. It's like, yee. Right. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll call it there for this, so I can go get food and whatnot, and then I can worry about trying to neaten these up and draw them onto better paper. But that, if I turn it so you can actually see it properly on camera, I say properly on camera, it doesn't show that great when it's pencils. But yeah, that's the result of today's brainstorm. Then again, you know, considering I didn't have anything in mind and I really wasn't feeling like streaming when I started, I think it's done alright. It's come out okay, and it's helped me feel better about a few things, so that's always a good thing when it does that. So I shall wrap up here. I thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and thank you for the new follows. Wonderful. I shall have a look at that once I'm done. I do hope you all have a fantastic evening / morning, depending on when or where you're watching this. Like all my streams, this will be archived on YouTube. So mind you, if you're watching this on YouTube, then it's kind of pointless saying that the YouTube links are below, but the YouTube links are below, so if you have missed any streams, you can just pop in. I do save them to the playlist for the relevant sections, so this being the art playlist there. I will next be streaming on Friday. We're back to Nier, and that will be 6 till 8 again, or 6 till whenever on that one. And then on Saturday I'll be streaming. Caron will be joining us, but won't be streaming himself, so it will just be my point of view on there. It's just it wasn't coming out as worth it for him to stream as well as me. So he's still going to do the shoutouts and get people to come and watch, but it's just going to be me streaming on there, so it's going to be the one point of view. Not sure what we're doing this week. It's probably going to be either Payday or Deep Rock again, one of the two. Unless we decide again randomly to change it like 5 minutes before we're due to stream, like we did on Saturday. Always good when we plan that. And Nora, it's about it's always good to have you in, Banana. It's I appreciate you've got other things to do as well. So thank you for dropping by. It's always good. And yes, I shall go off, get some food. I shall let you all scoot off and enjoy the rest of your evenings, and look forward to seeing you next time. Toodles.